Here is a simple illustration on how to achieve this stylish monostrap flare dress with collar. To start, I'm going to cut this in a miniature form. Now, the first step you're going to take is to mark your measurements, which I've gone ahead to mark my shoulder to bust, under bust, and waistline, right? Now, after I'm done marking this, the next step I'll take is to go ahead to divide my shoulder by 2. That is, measure my shoulder, divide it by 2. Now, add ½ inch to it because this dress has a sleeve, and I'll come down by 1 inch. I'll mark a basic neckline of 3 by 3 inches for this pattern, right? So I'm just assuming that I'm marking a basic neckline here, although I'm not doing that on this pattern because we are cutting it in a miniature form. So I'll just go ahead to connect. After I'm done connecting, I'll go ahead to place my ruler and I'm going to connect. After I'm done connecting, I'm going to find my chest line, which is my bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. Now I'm going to place my ruler and draw out a straight line at this point. After marking this, the next step you want to take is to go ahead to mark your shoulder divided by 2 on the chest line. Now I'll place my ruler and I'm going to go ahead to connect. After I'm done connecting, I'm going to place my tape and I'll divide what I have here into 2 equal parts and come out by half. I'll mark my bust circumference divided by 4 here and I'll connect this from this midpoint all the way up and to the other side of my pattern also. Now after I'm done marking this, I'm going to start by marking my dart for this pattern. I need to mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2. So this is not my actual nipple, right? We are just assuming this is the nipple to nipple point divided by 2. My nipple to nipple is 7 inches divided by 2, which will give you 3.5. I'm just making use of 2.5 here, and I'll go ahead to connect, drawing out a straight line. So after I'm done marking this, right, I'm just going to go ahead to mark a dart intake of ½ inch here. If you're plus size, use 1 inch. I'll mark 1.5 here. Now, if you're plus size, use 2 inches on the other side. Now, I'll just go ahead and place my ruler and I'm going to connect. After I'm done connecting, I'm going to place my ruler and connect from the bust to the under bust of my pattern, right? Now, after connecting at this point, I went ahead to divide my armhole into 2 equal parts. Now, from that point, I'll place my curve drill and I'll go ahead to connect. After I'm done connecting at this point, the next step I'll take is to mark ½ inch on both sides. Now, I'm just going to blend this out or blend it into the initial dart line we have at the armhole of this dress. Now, after I'm done blending out, now this ½ inch, you'll be replacing it towards the armhole of the other side. This is because when you're joining your dress, this side tends to be shorter, so this will make up for the other side. Then connect it back to your armhole. Now, after marking this, you want to go ahead to insert your measurements at the bust, under bust, and waistline of your pattern. Now, for the bust, mark your bust circumference divided by 4. Measure this dart intake you have here, replace, and then add a sewing allowance. At the under bust, mark your under bust circumference divided by 4. For your dart intake, replace and add your sewing allowance. Towards the waistline, go ahead to measure your waist circumference divided by 4. Measure the dart intake, replace, and add your sewing allowance. Now, after you're done doing that, go ahead to connect this all the way to the upper part and to the lower part of your pattern. Now, after outlining, you want to mark your bust dart. To get your bust dart is the difference between your shoulder to waist in front and your shoulder to waist at the back. Now, I'll just go ahead to connect to this point. And after I'm done connecting, I'm going to mark all these measurements on the other side. Now, after transferring this measurement to the other side, start by creating the monostrap. Starting from that shoulder, I'll blend in my dart to meet at this point and I will connect. So this is what I have at this point, right? Now, after I'm done connecting at this point, I will go ahead to use my marker to outline. So we are almost done with that of the front, right? So I'll just mark this and go out by 0.5 and connect. So this is that hole we have, or the keyhole effect we have at the upper part of the pattern. Now I'll just go ahead to cut out my pattern, and while cutting out, please go ahead to close up your dart. You can use a pin to hold it down or you can tape it up. So this is what I have after cutting this part. Now go ahead to measure what you have here. Measure around your sleeve to the back. That is what you'll be using to cut out the collar. Now let's work on the back pattern. For this back pattern, I marked out a zipper allowance and I used a neckline of 3 by 1 inch, and I marked my shoulder to chest line, shoulder to bust, and shoulder to waist. The same way we got our shoulder divided by 2 and chest line for the front, that is what I did for the back. Now I'll start by marking my dart intake, which I'll mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2, and I'll draw a straight line. So now I'll go ahead to mark 1/2 inch on both sides of this pattern. After marking that, I'll go ahead to connect here, connect at this point. The next step is to go ahead to insert my measurement. I'm going to mark the bust circumference divided by 4, add your sewing allowance. Mark your waist circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake, replace, and add your sewing allowance. Now I'll just go ahead to connect. Now after I'm done connecting, I'll mark 1/2 inch here and then go ahead to extend this all the way to the upper part of this pattern. Now after I'm done marking this is to take care of the zipper bulge at the back. Now you can decide to replace this 1/2 inch at the other side of your waistline. I'll go ahead and cut this out. So remember to pin up your zipper allowance because we're trying to create the monostrap effect at the back of this dress. So I'll just go ahead and cut this out. After cutting it out, I'll go ahead to open it up. Now we're trying to create the monostrap effect at the back of this dress, right? So now you want to go ahead to bring your front pattern and place or trace out, right? You want to know which shoulder will be matching each. Now you connect from there to the armhole. Now after cutting out, you have to make your zipper to match also, so that when you join it at the back, the zipper, one zipper won't be higher than the other one at the back of the dress. Now the shoulder will serve as a guide to join that of the shoulder of the front pattern. Now you will now cut out this collar coming from the front all the way to the other side of the dress. Now let's cut out this flare. Now you're going to be using a 360-degree flare to cut out this dress. And now you need a round measurement of your waist plus your zipper allowance, right? So now I'm making use of this small pattern paper. I'll fold it into 2 and fold it again. So for example, let's say that my waist that I'm working with is 16 inches, the round measurement. Now that 16 inches, you divide it by 4. If you divide it by 4, what you have is 4 inches. Now I'll place my tape and I'll make a semicircle that is 4 inches round. This is the easiest way to cut out your flare without going ahead to do a lot of calculation. Place your tape at the tip where it touches this line. For me is about 2 inches. This is what I will take all the way around the flare of my dress, right? So after marking that, I'll now go ahead to connect that line back. That will now be the original line that I will be working with. Now the next step you need to take is the full length of the flare. Now measure from your waist to the full length of your gown. Whatever you have, add your folding allowance and joining allowance. So let me just say that the allowance I'm using plus the height of the skirt or the lower part is 3 inches, which is not the actual length. Remember, we are cutting this in a miniature form. Whatever measurement you are using here, please go ahead to use your original measurement when you're cutting yours out. This is an illustration or guide to cut out this dress. So after that, I'll go ahead to cut out this upper part. Now when you now cut it out, go ahead to slit it. You're going to join this all the way from the front to the back and add the zipper to the back of your dress.